Well, good morning and welcome back to another show with the Crafty Hook. How has everyone been? Just kind of doing another video this morning, checking in, things like that, kind of going over my Loom project. As you all know, I had done a video a while ago to teach you how to do the garter stitch scarf. So in today's video, I'm going to go ahead and take the steps on showing you the cast off, on how to cast that off of your loom, so don't go away. Okay, so as you all know, we started the scarf about, I would say, 2 weeks ago, I believe. I haven't gotten it quite as long as I wanted, but that's okay. I'm planning to just start it over anyways. But I wanted to get the video out as far as how to cast off the scarf off the loom, because I'd seen that a couple of you have left a couple comments and that on wanting to be able to learn the cast off. So I'm going to go step by step with you today and just kind of show you how to go about doing that. Okay, so as you see, my yarn is on the opposite end of my loom, and it doesn't matter if you're using a straight loom or a round loom. You always want to make sure that you start back at whatever peg that you had started the project with. So for example, this is the peg that I actually started with here. So I'm going to do one more row of the wrap, so I'm just going to wrap all of these back all the way to the first peg. So just wrap every one of those all the way back. Okay, so as you can see, I have every peg with 2 loops on there. So I'm going to go ahead and just work my loops over the top of each one of these pegs, just like that. So I just work my way on down and get each one of those flipped and to where we only have 1 loop on each peg. Okay, I'm down to my last one here. Okay, so now I'm left with 1 loop on each peg. Okay, so to start the cast off process, I'm just going to push these down a little bit here to give me a little working room. Okay, so your working yarn is at the first peg. So I'm going to take my working yarn, I'm going to wrap it around the next peg in the back. I'm going to take that loop, wrap it over, and I'm on my second peg here. I'm going to take that loop, I'm going to pull it off and move it over to the first peg, just like that. So as you can see here, I have 2 loops on that first peg. This peg has none. So I'm going to take that bottom loop, I'm going to flip it over the top. I'm going to take this loop off of this peg and move it over to the next peg. So now this peg is done. Okay, then I'm just going to keep repeating that step. So take your yarn, wrap the next peg, not that peg we were just working with, but the very next peg. You're going to wrap the yarn around. You're going to take that bottom loop, put it over the top. You're going to take this loop off of this peg, move it right back to the one before it. You've got the 2 loops on that one. Take that bottom loop, flip it over the top, just like that. Okay, so we're just going to keep moving, take that loop off of this peg, move it to the next peg, Wrap that yarn around the peg next to it, just like this. Take that bottom loop, flip it over the top. You're down to the one loop here. Going to take that, move it over to the first one there. You got your 2 loops on that peg. And then you're going to flip that one. Then you're going to take that one off of there, move it to the next peg. So as you can see, we have 3 pegs done here. Okay, take your yarn behind that next loop, just like that. Take your bottom loop over the top. Take this loop off, move it over to that first one there. You got the 2 loops on there. You're going to flip that again over the top. Take this loop off and move it to the next. 4 pegs down. We're slowly working our way to get the scarf off the loom. So again, wrap it around the next one, not the first peg. Remember, the next peg. Wrap it, flip your yarn, take that off that peg, move it over to this one. You're going to grab that, flip it over, and you're going to take this one and move it to the next one. And it's just the same process all the way down. I'm going to do this second one, move it over to the first one, flip that yarn over, and then there's another peg down, move it over. There we go. So we are slowly working. So as you can see here, we are casting it off there. Okay, so we're just going to keep working on down the loom. Wrap that second one, take it off the loom, put it over to the first peg, cast that over, and then move that loop over one again. One more peg down. Then we're going to just keep doing that. Keep working it all the way to the last peg that you're working with. Take that off the peg, move it over, and then flip. Then take this one, move it back over to the next peg. Wrap that next one. Move it over to the first one. You're going to flip your yarn. And all you're doing is just moving these right along the line here. Okay, so I'm going to push these down a little bit. And then take that, wrap it around the back. Take that loop off, move it over to the first. Flip that over. And you're going to take that one and move it to the next one. And all I'm doing is the same stitch all the way down to cast it off. And flip that over. So as you can see, I'm just wrapping and moving, wrapping and moving. So wrap the next peg, flip it over the top, take that loop, put it to the first one, then cast it over, take it off, move it right to the next one. It's just the same process all the way down. That over, take that loop, move it to the next one, cast it off, move it over. So we've got all of these all casted off here, all the way down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 more to finish here, so I'm just going to keep working my way on down. Okay, so I'm working my next one, wrap it, flip, pick it up, move it over, flip your yarn over the top, grab that one, and move it to the next peg. Just the same process, one by one. Just move this over, flip that over the top, grab that, move it to the next one. Slowly working my way there. Okay, take it, wrap it around that second peg. You always want to make sure there's a loop on this first one. You want to wrap the second one, flip it over, grab that loop, move it to the first one, flip that over, and then move it on to the next one. And wrap behind, flip it over, take that loop, move it to the first one, Take that, flip it over. We're just going to move that, and there's another one off of there. 3 more to go. So wrap, flip over, take your yarn, move it over, flip that over, and then move it again. So 1 more to go here, and we'll have here my yarn, or my scarf casted off. So down to my last peg, pick that up, move it over, flip that over. Then when I get down to my last, what I always do is I just kind of wrap 1 more, wrap it over, then I pull up my loop, pull my scarf off the loom, and as you can see, it's got a nice stitch up there. Okay, so what you can do is you can tie this, put this through the loop and tighten it, or you can cut a length and you can kind of just sew it in as you would when you're crocheting. Totally up to you. So that's pretty much a simple step just to get the scarf casted off. As I stated, this isn't quite as long as I wanted it to be, but I've been really busy with trying to get tax time done and take care of all of my clients for my tax season and that. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and just do a cast off just to kind of do a video and show you guys how to cast it off, off your yarn, off the loom. Now, again, this is the Premier Chunky Bloom yarn. So as you see how this scarf turned out, this is exactly the pattern as it goes along. So it starts out with like a color, then it goes to the design, then yellow, pink, blue, pink, yellow, and then back to the design again here. And then it just keeps going. Yellow, pink, blue, pink, yellow design. So y'all, I hope that was a helpful video. I hope you kind of learned a little from it as far as getting your scarf or project and that casted off. You can pretty much use this cast off for just about any flat project that you do on a straight loom or a round loom. It doesn't matter. It comes off just the same. The only thing is when you're wrapping and you're taking the looms and moving them, please remember, do not pull your yarn too tight, because if you do, I will show you an example. When you pull your yarn too tight, it's not going to give you a nice flat edging on there. It's going to kind of come around. So I did this just to show you, you don't want to pull your yarn too tight. If you do it just right, you're actually going to have a nice flat edging there. So y'all, I hope you enjoyed the video today. Definitely keep practicing. I appreciate each and every one of you for stopping by today, and you all have a lovely day. We'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.